G'day everyone. The Putrescent Knight is characterised by very strong, slow and delayed attacks that we all know and love. The boss is also mounted on whatever you call this creature, and so manoeuvres quite a lot around the room, often moving out of melee range very quickly to run laps of the room. So bring some powerful ranged attacks or gap closers to help make use of this downtime. I'm in a dex build at the moment, so naturally I'm using the Bolt of Grasax for its massive ranged weapon skill. This skill did a massive amount of damage to the boss, so if you're in a faith build, I recommend trying any of those strong lightning incantations. I also recommend a greatshield with high magic mitigation, like the Eclipse Crest or Kaku greatshields, to trivialise the fire phases of this fight if you're struggling with that. So let's take a look. As you land, pop your tear flask and hit the boss with your most powerful ranged attack for free. As you can see, the Ancient Lightning Spear does huge damage. Take your time and play defensively. As I said, the attacks are very slow and delayed, which can be annoying, but the upside of this is that once you learn the patterns, it's pretty easy to dodge. When the boss starts high and slow with the cleaver in its left hand like this is one of the most common 5-hit combos to be aware of. There's a slight delay after the first attack, then 2 in a row quickly, then 2 slams. After the last slam, you can retaliate with a bit of damage. When the boss starts high at the back left, but in the right hand, it's 2 quick and then 1 delayed. Again, there's usually time for 1 attack after this. The boss nearly always does 2 slams, so after the second slam, you can usually punish. Again, it will take you a little getting used to the delay on these attacks, but once you're used to it, it's pretty easy. Alright, so coming up is one of the most important attacks to be aware of. When the boss leaps off its mount like this into the air, it's the start of a set combo that is always the same. It's quite dangerous, but it's very easy to punish. You need to dodge the initial landing, and then after a slight delay, follow it up with 2 quick rolls. Straight after that, the mount and the boss will charge through you one after the other, and they'll do that twice. You can just dodge this with back-to-back rolls each time, or you can also block it, which is just as easy. Now's your chance to punish the boss with whatever your strongest ranged attack is or gap closer. When the boss runs away with the cleaver high in its right hand, it's usually a boomerang toss like this. These can be dodged or blocked pretty easily, despite me not doing it here. When the boss rises up in the air like this, it's about to start a very dangerous fire attack that can catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. It'll release several waves of fire all around the room, which you can dodge or you can jump. But I found this honestly very inconsistent and I couldn't quite figure it out, so this is where the great shield comes in. With a high magic mitigation shield, you can literally just put your guard up and take the fire. It doesn't hurt much at all. It's usually 3 releases of fire, followed up by a 4th wave of fire directly at you. This one is easy to dodge though, and I'd recommend doing so. The boss will also just release a single wave of fire every now and then, standing up like this. Again, just put your shield up. Here's another common combo. When the boss readies its cleaver high in its right hand like this, running toward you, it's going to be a 2-part combo, both pretty slow, simple dodges. When the boss runs off for a lap like this, it's a good time to try and punish with some ranged attacks. The boss can also release standalone lines of fire like this, just dodge those to the side. A good tip when the boss uses its 2-part combo we're about to see is to roll backwards on your second roll so that you can still get a hit in with your weapon. And that's pretty much all the mechanics of the fight that we've seen now. It's just rinse and repeat. You will get this big leap combo followed by the 4 charges quite a few times, so get used to either the dodge timings or simply block it as I do. I found that very consistent. Again, you'll want to always punish this with your biggest ranged attack or gap closer, something like a piercing fang. While I keep chipping away at the boss here, let's talk about my build. As you know, I'm using the Bolt of Grasax, which is a lightning infused spear that has an Ancient Lightning Spear weapon art, which does huge damage that you've seen. I'm also using the Eclipse Crest Greatshield because it's got a high magic resistance. Use whatever armor you can to get the highest defenses while still maintaining a medium roll. For talismans, I'm using the Great Jar Arsenal and the Erdtree Favor +2 because of the additional carry weight that they give you. Great shields are quite heavy. And for mitigations, you'll want to use the Dragon Crest Great Shield because this is just always good, as well as the Spelldrake Talisman, whichever one you have highest, because of the magic resistance for the fire that we're deliberately eating. For Crystal Tiers, the Opaline Hard tier gives us more mitigation, and the Lightning Shrouding Cracked tier is what I'm using for lightning damage, but you can just use whatever offensive one suits your build. Again, you'll get the 3 releases of fire waves, followed by the 4th one directly at you. I really recommend using the Great Shield. I found it a far more consistent way of dealing with this mechanic. When I was trying to jump, I'd mistime it and then I'd get hit and it was just bad. The only risk you run is that your Frostbite will still build up while guarding, and so after a few consecutive waves you can get the Frostbite pop, which does a fair bit of damage and makes you weaker again. A simple way to deal with this is to just eat a Thorfrost bolus. You might have missed it, but I ate one before after the 3 waves of flame come out before the 4th one. That's a really good gap to eat one. I'll say it again, if you're really struggling jumping those waves of fire, which I did, it's really consistent just using the shield. Here I'm super low and it still didn't kill me. If I'd mistimed that, I'm dead and I start again. Finally, some general Souls-like advice which is relevant here. When you get a boss super low like this, don't freak out and get all eager and make a mistake. Just stick to the gaps that you know and that you've practiced, and the boss will die eventually. Overall, pretty cool boss. It's definitely one of those ones that catches you off guard with its really slow and delayed attacks at first, which we all hate, I know. But once you learn them and learn the patterns, it's really quite a satisfying fight. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like, it really does help me. If people like these videos, I'll make a few more of the harder bosses in this DLC. Thanks for listening everyone, cheers.